Alright guys, welcome to the finals. These guys are going to play best of 5 in the finals. I think they just assumed it was best of 5 and they went with it, and to be honest, I'm not going to stop them playing best of 5 because I don't mind the idea of casting a best of 5 between Zoun, the red Protoss top right, and GuMiho, the blue Terran bottom left. I can say best of 5 here as we kick this one off. And yeah, sorry, we're a minute and a half just diving into this. That's just on me, just timed out a little bit wrong. I joined a party and went BRB. They were ready to start and they just got started and stuff, so apologies for being a minute and a half late to the start of the game, but not much missed, guys. CC comes down, Factory comes in just after it, very much so. What you'd expect, a Reaper expansion, taking on a Protoss player that walls over here, and otherwise just going to drop down his first tech structure right now at Twilight Council. So we didn't really miss anything of major interest super early. The first Adept is out. And there is a probe out over here, so that's the one thing I'm keeping a bit of an eye on. But even the Reaper's staying at home. He went for a scout here and here, just some of the common nearby proxy locations. But otherwise just wants to sit at home. No bunker at the front. And that's a difference to what we saw earlier, and maybe just because he's not going to build anything to put in it with Hellion production already beginning. And GuMiho, second barracks as well, though, so 2 Hellions, and it looks as though we'll just have Hellions. Again, obviously no starports. It's not going to be a drop. It's not likely to be Widow Mines, because then what you're going to do with Widow Mines, if you can't drop them, well, they're just going to sit at home. So, yeah, just Hellions initially. Looks like it's just going to be a switch up. Okay, that actually makes sense. 2 Hellions, and you put the Factory on the Tech Lab, so you can get a Cyclone up nice and quickly, and then you can just start pumping out those Marines. In which case, I would not mind to see a bunker low ground. Maybe it isn't super necessary, as he actually is going to catch this Adept and put some good damage on it before it ends up shading away out through to the center of the map. The Adept shades out of there as our robotics facility will just build on the front of the natural. Those couple Hellions are going to be turning away from that. Marines on the way, siege tank is building, that Cyclone just pops on down to the low ground. We will start up a depot already here as well. It's just going to be getting that depot coming through. I'm just going to continue up and just going to be seeing the combat shields. Continue to build from GuMiho as well. So just getting that rolling already. It's just have the depot going to be finishing up. So combat shield first means we're aiming for this aggressive kind of Marine tank push. You want to get across the map and settle down. Your Marines are going to have a bit more HP. You got a lot of Marines because you go double racks, but obviously you don't have the investment into the Starport and Medivacs, which you kind of need if you want the you kind of need if you want the thingamabobbies. I have completely forgotten what I'm trying to say. The starport, yes, the Medivacs. So if you go stim, you want the Medivacs for the healer, and if you go combat shields, you don't really need that. Sorry, just got caught off on a weird trail of thought for a moment. Pushing out the center as a racks lift. A couple Marines escape out. So we're seeing a Hellion already getting zapped down. GuMiho will continue across to the top and just going to get a lock on that. Obviously, GuMiho, a lot of this is the idea of fighting across the map and getting into position. If he gets there, it's going to be kind of scary. I'm not going to lie. The Stalkers didn't do as well at slowing this down as I thought they might. Now one tank is sieged up, and they're going to actually does get a volley off there too. Obviously going to play around this battery. Super battery's up already, so he's just going to start fighting this ASAP. Wants to get that battery into use straight away. But there's going to be double tank now siege. I mean, the damage you're putting out is just going to outdo what a super battery can heal even. The Immortal shows up, going for the dive on the siege tanks. The target fire wasn't there. He's still targeting down Stalkers. The Immortal dies, but obviously there's not much left behind this, although one tank's still doing well, and the second tank reinforces. GuMiho gonna keep this push alive. Stalker's now blinking for the double siege tank. Oh no, they're right on top of each other, which means the Stalker's blinking forward is gonna get both of them. SCVs are gonna try and get on top of the bunker and keep it building as the Stalkers are pushed back. Oh my goodness, I mean, the bunker has to cancel up. GuMiho is finally going to be turned around. A new Immortal showing up, and Zoun just about manages to pull out the defense here. Wow, that's that was something, actually. That was really, really a hell of a fight. As GuMiho gets turned around. Honestly, all said and done, resources lost, a little bit favorable to Zoun. He is on a third base. Do we like this a lot more for Zoun than we like it for GuMiho? I guess so. Obviously, GuMiho is now on his way to Stim, +1. Colossi on the way from Zoun. I don't know, man. I honestly kind of like on... I don't feel like it's super bad for GuMiho, right? Like, I like it for Zoun, but I don't hate it for GuMiho either. These couple of Marines are locked into the reactor, unfortunately. They are... Right, that might actually happen again. Oh no, the tank popped as the Stalkers blinked up. That's just going to be... Oh! A save on the Siege tank, actually! That works, and now these Stalkers are actually dying, so... This turned from bad to good for GuMiho, with the medevac coming in as the savior of that tank. And these few Stalkers, I mean, you can blink out to the right-hand side here. So that one Stalker does find a way to get out of there. Double Forge building in the main base. So bringing that up as we do have these few medevac, a few Marines coming through. And get a drop-off, pick off that Observer. And as that goes down, it's just going to be a good cleanup from GuMiho there. And we got this CC forward, and is just going to be looking to land a third base. So we have 3 bases against 3 bases, and this TvP has a pretty exciting start to the series, honestly. Not gonna lie, guys, for a little qualifier, this is actually giving us some pretty cool games already. If this carries on to our main portion of the Summer Championship, then I am freaking excited, let me tell you that much already. The Stalkers come adventuring through. Marines and Marauder gonna try and fight against those Stalkers, so pushing those back out to the right-hand side. We see a couple more Zealots warping in. 1-1 upgrades coming up as well. Let's start taking this fight. The Colossi kind of getting layered in tank shots. As Immortal and Stalker still coming through. We'll take down that tank. Stalker's blinking through to chase down the medevacs. Types out GG as Zoun is just going to be able to overpower and come on through in the end. Exciting start. Looked like GuMiho had a lot of potential. Doesn't in. Sorry, so just a moment too late into this because it's being spammed by someone trying to get some stuff to show up on stream. On the bottom left-hand side, our red Protoss player is Zoun, and he is being proxy barracked by GuMiho, our blue Terran top right, who will look to apply the pressure here this time around. So again, that's set up as our probe goes for a little scout in and attempt to see just what's going on. You've seen the Cybernetics core already building from Zoun in that main base, just getting that up and rolling. Of course, a Zealot on the way will help to deflect this initial Reaper. One of the main things I always think as well is the Zealot is really good to deny this SCV from building a bunker. Probe's getting some nibbles out, and the SCV taking a bit of damage there. And we are just going to be seeing the Zealot come through and is going to get that SCV killed off. So shuts down the SCV. Reaper doesn't find a chance to do much just yet either, of course. So we'll just have to hang back for the moment. And there's a tech lab on the barracks, so we're going to go Marauders. So he's obviously going to go something off this factory to aid these Marauders. It's going to be a Hellion. For a moment I thought maybe he could go for a Cyclone, but I wonder if it just takes too long to go Tech Lab, Cyclone, it just takes too long to then link up with the Marauders. So Shell's going to be finishing up soon as our Stargate building in the main. So bringing that up and running, warp gates on the way through. Pop a boundary down on that natural expansion as well, and just going to be having ourselves a gateway building up too. So I mean, everything looking okay. The question is going to be, what does the defense end up looking like for Zoun? You know, because it's going to be a pretty big pressure play from GuMiho in the near future with the Marauders and so on. So a couple of Hellions, a bunch of Marauders. I mean, the battery is key, but what can happen is obviously the Hellions can run past the battery and cause chaos in the mineral line. Then Marauders can maybe take down a battery fairly quickly. He's trying to queue up a 4th Marauder. It was supply block, so now he's going to lift up the barracks and just take it home instead. Medevac has popped out. So, okay, so what's the plan? Are we going to drop Hellions in the main and then Marauders run at the front? Or do you think we do it the other way around? Marauders get dropped in the main base and the Hellions run in at the front. Because it probably will take a lot of the attention away, and then you don't have to worry about the battery as much. Okay, well, these Phoenix are going to have something to try and say about this as they fly in. They can obviously lift up the Marauders. And this is such a GuMiho build, and I love it. Creativity still here from him as we do see him just diving at the natural. And this way he's going to get a good few initial probe kills, get 6. Probes are surrounding these Marauders, and that means they're stacked up, so the Hellions will get a lot more damage done. 11 kills, 13 kills, lines up for 15. Amazing damage found, but necessary damage because, hey, this command center is later than it wanted to be. And of course, you lost all of your early units, so Zoun is going to have the Phoenix to harass his way back into the work account as well. Great for GuMiho. It just feels like Zoun does have the tools to get back into this, to take a step back into it, you know? That's what I think is going to be happening here. So we have our Cyclone going to get a lock on. This is cute having Cloak coming up on the starboard, but actually it's going to be a Viking on the way, so no intention of actually cloaking. Problem is, there's nothing to defend the low ground, so the CC can't build, the Cyclone gets lifted. There just isn't enough units out, and it's the counterattack of these Phoenix that's actually going to create more issue than anything else. We have to land the Viking, which will try and fight off the Adepts. Yeah, this is it's getting out of hand, guys. It's absolutely going wrong. It looks as though GuMiho is going to be in a lot of trouble here for this game number 2. This was, I mean, it was a cool opening, but yeah, with the Phoenix coming out, you just don't have the anti-air you need to really fight against them at all, you know? That is a pretty sizable problem, to be honest. GG, Zoun is going to take a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. A cool attempt from I like the idea, I like the build. Just, needs a better answer. I wonder how it would look if it was against, like, Blink or something. Maybe the Stargaze just... We got into the games late, and this time it took us forever to get into the game. Let's win from the start, right, guys? 2-0 lead in the best of 5 for Red Protoss, who just continues to put in results lately. It is Zoun in the upper right corner of 2,000 atmospheres. Bottom left, our blue Terran player from Psystorm Gaming will be GuMiho. Game 3 of this best of 5 final. Again, these guys both qualified. It's a battle for a $75 first place prize and a $25 second place prize right now. So at this rate, obviously looks as though it might be Zoun walking away at first place unless GuMiho can start making a little bit of a comeback. I love the build, honestly. Like, the build seems so fun. It's one of those builds that's really like, it's just so GuMiho, you know, and I would really describe it as a GuMiho build, you know? It's a lot of fun, it's very cool, it's unique. It just didn't quite pay out in the end, but you can see the potential in it. I do think that maybe Phoenix might be one of the better answers too, because the Phoenix can obviously take units out of the fight right away. Gonna see a Marine going in, a probe taking a bit of damage, is gonna go spiral in its body out of the way. As we have our probe coming into the natural. 40, why can you manage such little downtime, but DreamHack / all the big tournaments can't? Because they have sponsorship and contract obligations to run a certain amount of ads per hour. So they have to run the ads and stuff. It's a big question, right? So online tournaments, in theory, you don't need a lot of downtime for online tournaments because there's not a lot of setup time. There's a little bit of production stuff that needs doing as well, but not as much as offline tournaments. So offline tournaments, you usually needed to get like players ready on stage, etc., right? In online tournaments, you don't really need that as much. Like sometimes a couple of production things need a little while to be updated and stuff like that, and so on and so on. But I think a lot of it is just they need to make the show a certain length, and they need to run a certain amount of ads per hour, and hence that's why we have the breaks and the pre-game segments and stuff. Just helps to make it more of a full show, really. I have said this before. I don't necessarily think DreamHack needs this kind of hosting pre-show stuff. In something like TSL, for example, like TSL did a good job, right? We just go in, we do like a break after a best of 5, and that's about it, right? And that was pretty good this last time around. But yeah, DreamHack have obligations for how many ads they have to run on Twitch every hour and stuff like that. So it's a lot more complicated than just being like, well, why don't they just start the next game already? You know. I don't have any obligations. I just sort of run ads when I want to. There's also less people involved in doing what I'm doing, so it's also easier to kind of just run something that fits my schedule and which works. Whereas DreamHack is running on a much bigger scale, right? So it's just a completely different setup, right? Like it's just a completely different goal/things that need to be done. Are there any aggressive Terran openers against Stargate? I mean, I think Stargate is naturally meant to be a defensive opening, especially if you go straight into Phoenix. It's meant to be an opening that is designed to keep you very safe. But you can still have like a Viking Cyclone push that can do pretty well if the Protoss player doesn't find the right amount of stuff or doesn't kind of set up properly. So, yeah. Yeah, it's not that DreamHack are like making mad money off running ads, guys. It's that their partnership with Twitch requires them to run those ads. So it's you know, like it's like I say, it's not like they're doing it to necessarily make more money, but they have a partnership and requirements because of that. But obviously, at some point, money's probably involved. But it's not like they're like, oh yes, let's run like 2 minutes extra ads, guys. We're gonna get rich right now. You know what I mean? And it's also nice for different people to be able to have a break on the show too. Anyways, yeah, this game continues to settle down. WardiTV fuel sponsorship when? I don't like those kind of stuff. There's one that I liked for a while. That was kind of cool, but then I just... yeah, I don't know. I really need to... I just kind of fell out of love with it, you know? Raven stays alive, and the Stalkers do take a couple shots of damage. Zoun finishing his 3rd. As for GuMiho, this is very much so a case of just building up all of his production. He's got the stim combat and +1, so when that finishes, I'm sure we'll see something of a move out and some action on the map. Until then, it's probably going to be a little bit of a passive few moments. Isn't there a lot of observers and casters getting into the lobby and stuff? Yeah, honestly, that part's not so bad. It's more just like between series and stuff, and sometimes players need a veto and stuff like that. I mean, it's... yeah. It's more like just the way that the show is set out, rather than like, oh my god, we can't get the players here on time sort of thing. There's reasons, like I say. I think it's better this time that they do a 6-minute break, pre-game 3-minute break, because before they used to do... oh no, the disruptor shot! Dead center on the army of GuMiho. I mean, that's brutal, and there's just no follow-up to that either. Well, we're talking about that stim combat shield +1 attack, and that just falls through the falls through the floor right now, because there's just nothing to push with any longer. Oh man, that's really, really rough. Tanky are gonna hit that adept, which is gonna get taken down. Yeah, to kind of speak to the whole idea of like, why can DreamHack not do that? Why can you do this and DreamHack can't? It's the same thing as like, remember War Chest Team League? When we had like picture-in-picture production and stuff? People were like, how come Wardy can do all this on his own, but like a big production can't? The honest answer was just, it's actually easier to do it just as all one person on like a baseline setup with, you know, like, not as professional of a setting, but like, you know what I mean? Oh no, these medevacs, I don't know why they didn't leave. Were they stuck trying to lift up extra units? Hmm. Okay, just gonna be seeing the units gonna come back into the center, and there's that Prism hunting for some more shots. As the Disruptors unload! Oh, they both die, so GuMiho gets both the Disruptor kills. Okay, this game's kind of weird. GuMiho has lost way more. But GuMiho also has just a natural army advantage. Work count isn't very far behind. It's so weird because it definitely, I mean, obviously those two Disruptors going down is a big loss, but before those two Disruptors just died, GuMiho had, you know, basically a 1.5k resources lost disadvantage, and yet he seems to just be in so much of a better position. Mine hits, the probe goes down as we are going to go dropping into the main again. This big drop, and can Zoun get army up to deal with this? Obviously losing those Disruptors means he's lost a lot of the splash damage he previously had available. I think this main base is just going to die off right here. Okay, maybe the main base doesn't die, but he's going to kill a lot of probes, right? So it's going to be heavily hurt. There's still a medevac up here as well. Okay, it doesn't have a Widow Mine in any longer. This one Marauder fighting a Stalker. Brand new Forges just came up too, so GuMiho does have an upgrade lead, and that will maintain for a little while here. About to be 1-1 against 0-0 for at least a minute and a half or so. Oh my god, the Zealots actually reinforcing Zealot showed up just in time to get caught up in those Widow Mine shots, and GuMiho keeps that medevac alive too. Back into the main base, the empty medevac gets shot down, so the full medevacs get to unload, and GuMiho just turned this game into his playground. Get rid of the Zealot. These Stalkers on their own don't do much. I mean, Zoun's attacking across the map. Disruption shots coming in. The medevac does evacuate a little bit. And GuMiho might struggle a little bit to find the units at home to deal with this, because obviously he's just got so much across the map as he will take down reinforcements as they warp in those. So he's really doing completely fine over here. It's just a case of, can he stop the attack of Zoun? Eventually, I think he should, but he is continuing to send units down the ramp and stuff, and that makes it a little bit tricky. He has got units on the bottom side. Remember, he's got 1-1 against 0-0, so he's got the upgrade advantage. I like the Archons at home from Zoun. They definitely gives him a better opportunity to deal with this. Stalkers and Archons continuing through. Just going to be seeing the Bioforce coming on in. Just going to take down a pylon. Robo Facility gets empowered. Zoun types GG. Am I crazy, guys? Like, I really feel as though this game was just not going GuMiho's way for the early game. And then he just turned. And then all of a sudden, GuMiho was like, actually, yeah, but I'm just winning. I was like, wait, why? I don't get it. Top left side, Zoun still on match point and tournament point of this qualifier. And in the bottom right, GuMiho, our blue Terran. I'm so excited to get GuMiho back in my tournaments, guys. It's gonna be really cool. Excited to see him play in the main portion of the event. Should be a lot of fun. Really excited for it. A barracks out on the far left-hand side. And that's something Zoun will figure out, at least knows that the barracks will not be at home very soon because his probe is just now entering the Terran main base. He will just check the corners to make sure it's not nearby. And then say, okay, you've probably got a proxy on the map. Last time he was pretty thorough about it, went for the Zealot. Sometimes people try and skip the Zealot, but Zoun last time said, yeah, I'll just get the Zealot, or we'll go from there. I can't imagine GuMiho this time around, like twice in a row, turns this into a... I can't imagine twice in a row he turns it into like that Marauder thing. But he actually goes Tech Lab first. Wow, so it's actually going to be a factory proxied as well, and a Marauder on the way now. And you can see this probe checking everywhere because you also don't see a factory in the main. So you're kind of wondering, like, is this really like a full-on proxy everything? And that's just a confirmation you would really like to have to help you out at some stage. So probe it round into the main. Gonna have a look to see what's up. Factory about to finish, and just gonna be seeing that start of a Hellion. So it's gonna be Marauder Hellion all proxied this time. And there's Zealots on the hunt as well. He's just not going the right way at all to see any of this. Do we go just super early with Marauder? I mean, there's a second gate on the way up, so there's gonna be more gateway units than usual here to help deal with this. Oh, Marauders see the Stalker. They didn't get it because of the concussive shell finished like moments afterwards. I like what Zoun just did. He was about to battery the low ground, realized that ain't gonna happen. Then he batteried the high ground, but he will now battery the low ground. He just prioritized the high ground battery first, and I can really appreciate that, I think, given the situation. Can you buy enough time here? The Zealot's obviously going to help. The Probe's going to help a lot too. But Hellion wanted to go for the Stalker. The Stalker, which is actually left to target fire down the Probe. Another Hellion showing up as well. Probes are here. I mean, this is completely chaotic. As now both the Stalkers go down, the Hellions will be able to stay at a distance and put some damage out. And you can see the Probes will start to go down. Battery will finish though, and it supercharges immediately. And the bunker will be cancelled. So 4 Probes going down, but for the moment, that should kind of be the end of this. SCV chasing the probe around a little bit. I mean, Stimpack building on the proxied barracks is an interesting choice, as we basically stay on one base here, then is GuMiho. So he's essentially, I mean, he looks like he wants to expand. Is he really going to keep this up for long enough? If the Stalkers busy themselves with the factory at first and don't worry about the racks, it's possible this actually works out to get Stim done. He wants to keep the factory here. He wants to keep this, you know, active on the map at least. Obviously, Zoun does have late attack himself because of all of this. Wow, we're building an armory. What the hell? Are we going to build a Thor? Am I just crazy, or are we going to build a Thor? Is that a possibility here? Stim Marauder. Does he have the money for it? I mean, what else comes off of this? Oh, sorry, that's a reactor. Oh, so he's going to build mines, and they're going to be cloaked, right? Sorry, I thought that was a tech lab coming up, and I got excited about the army. It's like, Thor time! This would be ridiculous! And also make no sense, hence why it's not going to be that. Yeah, I guess we're just going to get cloaked up. Oh, no, wow, it's just Hellion, so it's just going to be Hellbats. Oh, wow, my goodness. So, Stimmed Marauders, Hellbats. Definitely still not a push you usually see as GuMiho. Looks to potentially tie this up if he has a successful fight here. On one base, he must win the game with this. He didn't commit to an expansion as we suggested he might go for. Like this. Pops in, forces some probes to stop mining. Showing Hellions right, and at the same time, Marauders are trying to drop the main. That didn't go too well, so he actually got turned around in the main base. The medevac just getting out alive. This has got to be like a straight-up push at the front, though, right? Because you've got Hellbats available. That's got to be why the army was built. So, we're waiting for the SCV. So, we're waiting on the SCV pull as GuMiho looks to end it all and tie this series up 2-2. Okay, well, let's see what we get. Hellbats morph in. I mean, at least everything's going to be fairly slow. Oh, he's going to go for the Hellbats to drop on top of the Stalkers and so on. I can get behind that. Here we go. Marauders stim in. Here come the Hellbats. The Probes pull in, and the Hellbats drop on top of the Probes. And the Marauders are going to put out a lot of damage against the... if you can just get rid of this Zealot, he would put out so much damage against the Stalkers. Maybe he should have been a little bit more cautious about the Super Battery. The Super Battery did insane amounts of work here. A lot of Probes went down. Medevacs are going to get blinked on top of. Stalkers are still being traded against, though. A Marauder here chasing away a couple. They're blinking out of trouble. I really think you should have gotten rid of that Super Battery sooner. The Super Battery kept a Zealot alive for so long because the damage just wasn't there to clean it out. There's one Marauder wants to go and kill off these low HP Stalkers. You can see he feels like the potential is there. The Stalkers survive, and that's a hold. I just want to go back to that Zealot. Like, the Super Battery does so much in this fight. And I really feel like GuMiho plays incorrectly against it. You come in. Right now, he could probably take a step further up and just kill the super battery, right? And I appreciate this Zealot. Look at this Zealot. Like, this guy is a freaking hero. He survives from like 555 to 605. I mean, he just survives the entire time. Like, he finally dies. That Zealot lasted like 13 seconds, and he took so much damage. If these Marauders are hitting Stalkers all the way throughout this, and the best part is it's only one Zealot, and what's crazy is that one Zealot that you've built at the start of the game to help with the, with the proxy has actually been probably the most valuable unit in the actual fight. Oh, wow, wow. GG's, and GuMiho taps out to give Zoun the 3-1 victory.